Alright, in today's video, we're going to talk about growing grass in the shade, which you can see is not happening here behind me. This magnolia tree that I've talked about on my channel, it's always been a thorn in my side. So, since we're having this issue with growing grass in the shade, I'm going to show you how to grow grass in shaded areas. Alright, now, the title and the video at this point may seem a little misleading, but I'm trying to make a point here. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to make a decision whether you want grass or trees. Okay? And then if you want both, then you're going to have to make another decision. You're going to have to trim that tree back so that you don't have so much shade. Now, my grass used to fill in under this tree, no problem. But here in the last year and a half, 2 years, it has slowly started creeping out to the edges. You can see right there where the shade's at is where the grass is at. It doesn't really come all the way into here. Now, different parts of the country, you may be able to get away with Kentucky bluegrass, which does well in shaded areas, or ryegrass that does pretty good in shaded areas. But I live an hour and 15 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. It is 105 right now. You can sit in the shade and sweat like crazy, and a lot of that's because of the humidity, but my point is that it's so hot down here that some of those grasses will not even survive in the shade. And if I was to grow Kentucky bluegrass under this tree, I'm gonna have a dark green and then a lime green yard. So it'd be a circle under this tree of a dark green Kentucky bluegrass with a lime green yard, and it's just not gonna look right, and I don't want 2 different grass types. So my point here is I have narrowed it down to I'm going to have to decide if I want shade or do I want grass. And you're going to have to decide too. Now, big box stores, they offer shade mix or partial shade mix or this and that. But if you look at the seeds that are in those shade or partial shade mixes, it's different grass types. Okay? The ideal yard is to have one uniform grass type over the entire yard, because whenever you get into fertilizers and herbicides, different grass types require different fertilization and different herbicides. So today I'm gonna show you how remember this in the comment section before you start typing, how I am gonna grow grass in shaded areas. Eliminate the shade. Now, this doesn't have to be 100% elimination. If you'll watch channels like Connor Ward and people like that, Connor Ward had trees and he kept fighting trees and shade and leaves and this and that. What did he do? Eventually, he got rid of the trees. Now, I'm not telling you to cut all your trees down. And I know that what I'm about to do, there's going to be a bunch of Karens and male Karens in the comment section talking about how I am hurting this tree and it is just going to die and it's going to follow my house and kill my family and my insurance is going to go up and all kinds of crazy stuff. Chill out before you even get started. So, today I'm going to show you an alternative to cutting down an entire tree. But before we get started, and I show you what we're going to use, let's take a look at this area from a different viewpoint so you can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as shade versus grass. Alright, so you had to excuse the condition of the grass because I'm also in the middle of a scalp and scarify video. It probably has already posted. If not, it's going to be a multiple week type deal where you see the end result. So ignore how rough the yard looks, but for reference purposes, this is like 2 days. So if you look out here, you can see the grass is doing fine. And then where the shade starts, the dirt starts. You can see from this side here, that tree extends, shoot, I bet it's 15 foot on both sides here. And now we're not looking to trim this tree all the way up. We just want to trim some of these lower branches so that in the morning and in the evening, this sun can get in here a little better than it is right now. Because this tree really hasn't grown up that much, it's just kind of growing out. So we're gonna try to put a stop to that. All right, so what we have here is a Craftsman Sawzall. It's also known as a reciprocating saw. Now I have bought the wood blade for this thing. I use this pretty regular, hence the no paint. But they make longer blades if you really want to cut some big limbs. Now I know a lot of people are going to say, man, why don't you just get a chainsaw? Well, I have 3 trees on my property. Why would a man with 3 trees buy a chainsaw? So today we're going to be trimming the limbs on this tree with a Sawzall. Basically, we're just going to go around this tree and just start pruning it until we start cutting off some of these limbs on the perimeter. I will not be putting a link in the description. You can buy this at Lowe's, and you can buy the blade at Lowe's. And yes, mine has a cord because I don't like charging stuff up. Let's get started cutting some limbs.
Sometimes it feels like I'm all alone. Sometimes life just ain't enough. No matter what I do or where I go, it seems like I'm aiming far too low. You and I still have something. We still have somewhere to go. So why don't you come over? So why don't you come over? Why don't you come over? Why don't you come over? Sometimes it feels like you know the right way. Sometimes you just don't care at all. And when I'm holding you, I'm where I wanna be. You make me feel I'm closer to the sky. You and I still have that something. We still have somewhere to go. So why don't you come over? So why don't you come over? Why don't you come over?
Look at that sun on that ground. We're gonna get some grass filling in now. Look, all of this was dirt, and it would not be getting sun right now because those limbs on this side were blocking it even in the evening. That looks 100 times better. Now that this sunlight's getting all up in here, that grass is gonna spread like herpes at a kissing booth.
We'll walk the right way, yeah.
All right, so as you can see, here's the base of the tree. This is 30 days later. But you can see kind of where the grass was, and it was all dirt from there in. And now you've got all this Bermuda popping up. Now some of this is weeds, but you can see that just because of it getting sunlight, there's now grass all over the place coming in here. You can see right here, it's just filling in. And this is like 5 foot from the tree. On this side here, all this was dirt. you can see that's where the edge was. And all this is starting to fill in just by giving it sunlight. You can also see on this side of the tree, there is Bermuda coming in and filling in and runners going everywhere. And this is 30 days after getting rid of that shade. It's just clusters popping up everywhere, just coming in. There, right there in the middle of all this dirt. It's just sprouting up everywhere. But like I said, this is how I grow grass in shaded areas. And as you can see, it's already starting to sprout out new limbs just in 30 days. But believe it or not, I had this tree's permission before I butchered it, and he said it was fine. So no reason to make a bunch of comments about how I butchered this tree. So, all right, I appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. If you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications every time I put out a video. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Of course. Why wouldn't a vehicle pass by as soon as I press record?